You are watching UB Stories. Like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment.
This content is for information and entertainment purposes only. It may include clips or statements from public sources used under fair commentary. Views expressed by guests or commenters are their own and do not reflect the Uncle Beno Show. We do not guarantee accuracy, and this is not professional advice.
Good morning to all my viewers all over the world. I'm sure you can all still recollect it's exactly 3 weeks when I visited Pastor Chris Okafor's church here in Toronto, Canada. And I promise you guys that I'm going to reveal what really happened. As I told you earlier, I have been investigating Chris Okafor far before the incident between him and Chris Ogala. I started investigating him almost 5 months earlier, before the incident that happened in Nigeria between him and the girlfriend, Chris Ogala. Please listen attentively and follow me. I may not end this series on this very video, because it is going to take a very long narrative. It's going to be in parts. I'll call this one part 1. Yes, this is how Chris Okafor and his cohort, Bashiru Ogbano, that is his real name before he's being christened by Chris Okafor, that he now gave him a new name, David Okafor. It happened in July 2024. Chris Okafor got across to one of her church member who is now residing in Canada, that he is coming to Canada for a crusade and he needed her help. And this woman contacted her husband here, that they are staying together. As a matter of fact, the husband brought the woman to Canada. The husband brought that woman to Canada, and they are blessed with 4 children. Actually, their marriage is 20 years old marriage. Right? And when this woman told the husband that, look, my father-in-law is coming to Canada for crusade, blah, 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 the husband, key into it. Being Christian or whatever, he key into it. To the extent that this family, they went and picked up Chris Okafor and his entourage that comprised of Bashiru Ogbano, who is now known as David Ogbano. They brought them in to Canada, cooked for them, did everything for them, a very warm reception and all those stuff. That's how how they take care of their Gio. Oh, Papa Gio is around. So when Chris came here, Chris now told this family that he's planning to open a church, which I refer to as a business center, here in Toronto, Canada. He now told this family, a very perfect family of almost more than 20 years now. He told them, look, I'm here with one of my pastors. His name is David Ogbano. he's going to stay behind. Please kindly help me to perfect everything about him to start the church here in Toronto, Canada. And they obliged. Pastor Chris finished his crusade here. He left and left Bashiru Ogbano behind with his family. Bashiru Ogbano started staying with this family in their house here in Toronto. A very mighty, well-furnished, a very mighty house. If I say mighty house, a very mighty house. Ogbano was offered a room to stay in that 6-bedroom mansion. And after a while, the issue of how Bashiru will start working in Canada, because Bashiru came in with a visiting visa. The document he presented to the embassy was that he's coming for just only 2 weeks visit. I have the document with me. But when he came in here, because of their plan of opening a business center, which they refer to as church, this family helped in perfecting the documents of Bashiru Ogbano in the way of a working permit, registration of the new business center here. This was done by that family. So Bashiru Ogbano got a working permit that will allow him to work here as a preacher in Canada. So now start staying with the family the first month, second month, third month, up to about the 7th month. So the man of the house, the husband of that woman now, was not longer comfortable with the relationship between Bashiru Ogbano and his wife. Sometimes the guy will come back home from work. He will ask, where's my wife? Yeah, Madam stroll with the pastor. They will stroll in the neighborhood together, all this stuff. As a matter of fact, the guy goes out to work, but Madam is always at home because Madam is working from home. So Oga will go to work, leave Madam and Chris Ogbano at home. So they became so intimate that Oga is no longer comfortable. Oga called the wife. He said, look, my dear, it's high time Pastor will go and look for another place to live. As a matter of fact, this man brought in 2 siblings of the wife into Canada with his own paper, because this man is a citizen. He brought the mother of the wife, the mother-in-law too. So in the house, they are in the house comprised of the mother-in-law, the 2 siblings of the wife, and the 4 children, including this Pastor Bashiru Ogbano. So when he told the wife, look, let this man go and look for his own abode. He has stayed enough. 8 months here. The wife said, no, he goes nowhere. So why? He goes nowhere how? How do you mean? That issue brought a quarrel between him and his wife. It was dragging for almost a month. So it got to an extent, the guy now told the wife that, look, this man has to leave my house. Because now, it's either the wife is in the room of the pastor sometimes discussing what he doesn't know. At the long run, Pastor Bashiru left the house. He got another accommodation in Toronto. As I told you, this will be a very long story because I see that it's almost going off with my 10 minutes. Please hold on. I will continue from where I just stopped this story. It's very, very interesting. Please hold on. Jimmy Adekanle is my name. Good morning and happy Sunday. Yes, I hope you guys are following me. This is the part 2. And where I stopped was when Bashiru Ogbano was asked to leave the house by the host when he was no longer comfortable with his closeness and romance with his own wife at home. Because the wife now came to his defense. You know, it takes a very lengthy period before Bashiru could leave the house. Meanwhile, all this while, when these things are happening in the family's house, he was talking with Chris Okafor in Nigeria. That, Papa, please, tell your pastor to go and look for a house. He has stayed more than 8 months here. Please. And moreover, I'm no longer comfortable with the way his closeness with my wife. Because my wife now doesn't even listen to me any longer. Sometimes I come to the fridge to pick food. The siblings of my wife will tell him that, oh, please, that food is for pastor. The wife will come, that food is for pastor. So in my own house again, you're having a different food for pastor? No. So all this while, he was complaining to Chris. And Chris did nothing about it. So, when pastor left the house, pastor got another accommodation in Toronto. And the family, they were in their home. But the guy stopped attending the church. He said because he's no longer comfortable with what is happening there. That he has seen that these people are not sincere. They are not sincere. And he has seen that what they are doing in that place is all fake. All the miracles, they are all fake. Right? Because it got to the time, this Chris Ogbano asked church members to bring all the denominations of the Canadian dollar from 5 to 10 to 20 to 50 to 100. So you should bring it to church and sow it as a seed. That the following year, by that time, by a year after that time, that they will all become a millionaire. They all came with the seed, including this man too. He said he sowed that seed. Imagine bringing all the denomination of all Canadian notes from 5 to 10 to 20 to 50 to 100. 5 different denominations. They saw it, nothing happened. Right? Now, the pastor has left the house, but the wife still continue attending the church with the children. So the family now, the man of the house, the husband of the woman, got information that the wife always goes to the pastor's house. So at this particular time, he traced the wife's car and he saw it in the pastor's house. So when the woman returned home, the husband challenged her. Where are you coming from? The woman was trying to lie. He said, look, I saw your vehicle in the house of the pastor. What are you doing in the pastor's house? And she now said, yes, I went to cook for him. He said, you went to cook for the pastor? You have not cooked for me, your husband, but you have the audacity to go and cook for the pastor in his house. Hope it's not what I'm suspecting, that you people are having affairs. That was it. What never happened before in their family happened that very day. The woman jumped at the husband. And the husband now pushed her away. For the first time in 20 years, they have never had such a quarrel. Unknown to the husband that the wife has a plan. Immediately, the wife picked the phone and called the police. He called the police, claiming that he was beaten, claiming that he had been in a toxic relationship, claiming that he is no longer comfortable with a man because of her life, and all those tales, all those lies. Allegedly. Then police came. You know the country we are. Police came immediately. And the husband was handcuffed, arrested, and sent packing. He was detained. Even at that moment, he was calling police or whatever. This man picked his phone to call the pastor. As he was talking to the pastor off the line. He picked the phone again. He called Chris in Nigeria. Please, pastor, see what is happening to me. Chris listened and off his phone. He off his phone, and after a while, both Bashiru, the pastor here, and Chris in Nigeria, they block this guy's line. They block his line. This is how the man was chased out of his own house that he bought. He was chased out. But the shocker there is this. After 2 days that this man has been chased out from his house, Bashiru Ogbano packed into the house. He returned back to the house. Bashiru starts staying in that house with another man's wife and children. This man now has been banned that he should not be seen 3 kilometers radius from the house, from his own house. And here we are. Bashiru is now living in another man's house with another man's wife and children. Chris Okafor did not intervene. Chris that brought the man to them refused to intervene till tomorrow until his issue with Ogala came up. And that was the period I was investigating the whole issue. So when Doris Ogala issue came up, and also, so really, this is what these people have been doing? On in-depth investigation, I realized that the wife that Chris Okafor got wedded to of recent was the girlfriend of Bashiru Ogbano. Was the girlfriend of Bashiru Ogbano. And that is the same lady that Chris Okafor got impregnated. Which means Chris was sleeping with his own pastor's wife or girlfriend. Because I learned all members of the church knew the relationship between Chris Ogbano and the present wife of Chris Okafor. You know? So you can see the whole dirty episode going on in that place called church. That is not a church. It's merely a business center. Up to date, it's more than a year now that the guy has been driven out of his own house that he bought with his own money. As I said earlier, this is part 2. I am coming with part 3. And I'm sure that part 3 will round up the whole episode for you people to judge. This is a true life story. I have been seeing it in films or movies, but I saw it, live. I investigated it. I interviewed the man involved. That was the reason why I even went to that church 3 Sundays ago. I'll be right back. Prince Olujimi Adeka. Yes, I am back. This is the part 3 of how Chris Okafor and Bashiru Ogbano, now known as Pastor David Ogbano, destroyed a 20 years old marriage here in Ontario, Canada. Where I stopped, the guy that is the husband of the woman now has been chased out of the house. He could no longer access his own house. Nothing he took out of the house. It's getting to 1 year now that he could not access that house. As a matter of fact, he was even facing a lot of challenges because of the phantom lies heaped on his head. So the friends of this man now came together. His friends from Austria, where he lived before. His friends from the UK. His friends from here in Canada and the US. They came together that, look, we won't just be watching as things is happening to our own friend. Let us meet in Canada so that we can go and intervene on this matter. At least, let us go and meet the wife, because they all know the wife. I'm telling you, this is a marriage of 20 years with 4 children. So they have some family, friends, and whatever. And moreover, the mother-in-law is in that house. The siblings are in that house. Here in Canada, they were all brought in by this man. This man is a citizen of Canada. He used his papers to bring the mother-in-law, to bring the 2 siblings. So, the wife, the 2 sisters, the mother-in-laws, they are staying in that house with this man. That's to tell her this man wasn't a bad person at all. Because if he's a bad person, he wouldn't have brought in the mother-in-law to stay with them. He wouldn't have brought in the siblings to stay in Canada with them. And moreover, he was one that brought the wife abroad. He went and married the wife in Nigeria and brought her abroad. And they have 4 children 20 years ago. So all the friends of the husband, they came to Canada, hoping to have a meeting with the wife to settle the matter. They were shocked when they got to the house. They met the pastor in the house. They met the wife in the house. They were chased away from that house by the wife. He doesn't want to see any of them. Is it fair? Is it fair? This incident makes me to remember the 4-way text of the Rotary. The 4-way text of the Rotary. Is it fair? Is it fair? As I speak with you, the guy has spent more than 1 year squatting from one house to the other here in Canada. This is a man that has a mansion, that has a very good job at hand. He lost everything. He lost everything. And here we are. Pastor Chris did nothing to intervene. And they are gathering every Sunday in the name of church. And you people have inflicted pains on your own fellow woman. A man that accommodated you. A man that you drank his water. A man that you ate his food. A man that you slept in his house. Bashiru Ogbano. A man that accommodated you here in Canada. A man that gave you everything. Those of you abroad, you know how it's not easy to keep someone in your house for even for 2 weeks. Because you pay mortgage, you pay rentage every month here. You keep a man for almost 8-9 months in your house, feeding him. He's using your water. He's drinking your water, eating your food. And this is the same man that now came back to that house, started living with the wife of your benefactor. A man that, in fact, this is the man that even gave you the work permit you are using. And Chris is aware of all this. That's why I told you that these people, they are demons. Chris Okafor is a demon. Up to this moment, Chris never got across to this man. This man has been jumping from one room to the other, squatting with friends, because he has been chased out of his 6-bedroom mansion with a 2-bedroom basement. It's a very big house. I mean, a very mighty house. This man became a squatter here in Toronto. And Chris pretends as if he's not aware. This is the man that went to pick you, Chris, at the airport with his car. This is the man that brought you to his home, gave you breakfast, gave you lunch, for the days you came here for the crusade, for the day you came here for your magic. Because to me, you are not of God. You are of evil, Chris Okafor. Which means you guys are planned to come and plant Bashiru Ogbano here to take over the wife of this man and destroy his family. As I speak, this man has no access to his home any longer. The house that is more than $1.5 million, he has no access to it. He's squatting from one room to the other here in Toronto. Is this of God or of demons? Pastor Chris will have settled that matter ab initio, if truly is of God, because he's the one that brought in Bashiru Ogbano into the picture. He's the one that contacted the wife of this man that is coming to Canada. And out of love, this man embraced you, Chris. Because of Christ, Christianity, he embraced you, thinking you are a real man of God, not knowing that you are a demon, Chris Okafor. Bashiru, you are a demon. Bashiru Ogbano, you now call yourself David Ogbano. You are a demon. You came in here to destroy a marriage, to destroy a family of 20 years with children. The children could not access the father. The father could not access the children. The father could not access his own house that he bought with his money. He could not. And you people saying you are Christians? More so, I blame those people in that church, because I'm sure they cannot say they're not aware of what has happened to one of their members when they didn't see him. When they didn't see him, it's so sad. Is this Christianity? Are these one pastors or they are demons? And somebody said we should be covering these people. How can you be covering a demon like Chris Okafor and David Bashiru Ogbano? They are all demons. They are not Christians. So judge for yourself, gentlemen, and see where my grievances is coming from. 20 years old marriage destroyed. A man lost all he has labored for here in Canada. He could not access his home. The funniest part, they wanted to sell the house. The realtor got across to this man that, oh, you want to say, your wife approached me that you want to sell your house. The man said, no, I'm not selling this house. They wanted to sell the house. And I'm sure Chris Okafor and Ogbano will collect that money from that woman. Because that woman is not ordinary. It's under the influence of hypnotism. They wanted to sell the house now. Gentlemen and ladies, this is my story. Chris Okafor is a demon. Bashiru